Hi there! You're listening to the MTG In Quarantine podcast. Everything about Magic the Gathering during the era of coronavirus and the COVID 19 pandemic. My name's MJ. Nice to meet you. Before I get to the rest of today's episode, I'd like to give a quick shout out to my local game store, Guardian Games. Local game stores are a pillar of the local Magic the Gathering playing scene. So whether you're looking to play games with your friends, or you're looking to buy sleeves, dice, singles for that sweet new deck you're brewing, or some sealed product, definitely go down to your local game store and make sure that the money you spend on Magic the Gathering is spent in your local economy and helps out your local Magic the Gathering community. You can find Guardian Games at ggportland.com. I wanted to spend today's episode introducing myself and talking about the core pillars of the MTG In Quarantine podcast. I've been playing Magic the Gathering for a little over a year now. As a kid, I used to play games such as the Pokemon trading card game way back before it was cool. And during middle school, I was that kid playing Yu-Gi-Oh! At lunch with the other kids. And by the time I got to high school, it just didn't seem cool anymore to be playing trading card games. It wasn't the in thing in the late aughts to be doing that sort of thing. And I basically swore off playing collectible card games. I put all of my collections into tote boxes, filed them away, and really didn't think about taking a look at them again. So, about a year ago, I was oddly enough bored one Saturday. I was working full time, and I didn't have a whole lot of friends in the local community where I was working. So, I was looking for ways, for excuses really, to be able to get out of the house. I stopped by a local game store that wasn't too far from where I was living at the time, and I started to get the itch that I'd once had when I was a kid to play competitive card games. And I started thinking, well, I could either try to dig up all those old Yu-Gi-Oh cards or Pokemon cards that I had in storage for so many years, but then the problem was that I wouldn't be able to play those games because those games have changed so dramatically since when I was playing that I hardly even recognize them anymore. So I figured that I would give Magic the Gathering a try. It was something that I didn't really understand as a kid. It seemed way too complex for me. Mana, lands, spells, it just didn't make sense to a 7 or 8 year old me. It seemed way too complicated, way too much math. I really don't know. But I decided to give Magic the Gathering a try and really, see if I could meet people through the game. And it was definitely an amazing decision on my part. I first learned how to play Magic the Gathering at my local game store. There was a very small shop about 2-ish miles from where I was living, a different one from the first one I'd stepped into. And I saw that there was an open house for the new War of the Spark set that had come out that day. So this already dates it to about last May, May 2019. And I didn't know anything about the game. I had bought some cards the day before. I didn't understand really anything what was different from spells. I didn't understand the difference between sorceries and instants. I didn't understand really anything about the game. I'd watched a couple of YouTube videos, but that didn't really help me understand how exactly to play the game. So I got to go to an open house, had a very, very friendly and outgoing shop owner who taught me the ropes of the game and definitely instilled the love of the game in me going forward through the Friday Night Magic program that he had going. And it was during those Friday Night Magic sessions that I really started to come into my own as a player. Not only did I have a chance to mess around with new decks, new concepts, but I also had a nice community of people to play against. And these were not high level decks. We didn't have a tournament setting, so it was basically everything you would imagine middle table or middle school table Magic the Gathering would be at lunchtime. It was just some friends hanging out every Friday after work or after school, and just enjoying ourselves for 4 or 5 hours every Friday night. And that's definitely something I'll never forget, and it's something that really got me hooked on the game and got me hooked on the multiple formats that Magic the Gathering has to offer. As for formats, I eventually made the decision that it would be too expensive, too prohibitive to be able to actually continue playing standard 60 card constructed Magic because, as we all know, formats like standard, modern, especially the eternal formats are extremely expensive and extremely difficult to really be able to get into for new players. So my oasis became Commander, which is now considered to be the most popular format in all of Magic the Gathering, but at the time seemed like a kind of a fringe format for me. I didn't really understand why anyone would want to play with 100 cards, especially singleton cards, versus playing with a standard 60 card deck, 20 life, just everything that Magic the Gathering had been built on since its inception. So I went to another local game store which had Commander nights, or sorry, excuse me, Commander days on Sundays, excuse me. And I didn't really know what I was doing the first time I went there. I tried to cobble some strange mono black zombie deck with Geth, Lord of the Vault, as my first commander. I didn't understand crap about Commander, really. I had only played one game of it before that point, but I really, really did enjoy that. I had an amazing opportunity to play at my local game store one Friday night for Friday Night Magic. Got to play the first Commander anthology, I think, and I got to pilot the Marin of Clan Nel Toth deck. And being a big Golgari fan myself, I really enjoyed all the value that Marin was able to get for me as a commander. And then also, I really started to enjoy the quirks of multiplayer Magic. It was something that I never really imagined possible, and it was something that definitely sparked my imagination. So the first week aside, I started thinking, okay, what kind of decks can I build in Commander? And fast forward a year, and not only have I gotten a whole lot better at building decks, because frankly, it wasn't all that hard not to get better. If you'd seen the first deck that I'd ever really, really built, but I've also really started to dig into a whole lot of different color pairings and really just trying to enjoy Commander not just as a 100 card singleton format, but also as a social format. And that's really what I love about Commander, especially, is that it's not all about competition. It's not all about stomping on your opponents and winning in 4 or 5 turns. Certainly, you can do that if you play formats such as CEDH or if you play at higher power levels, but if you play at lower, more casual power levels like I do, somewhere on the, let's say, 4 to 6 power scale, which is typically where I play, I just really enjoy long, durdling games where you really just get to play your deck out and have a lot of fun playing giant, goofy spells. As I understand it, that was a lot of what Commander was really built upon, and it's definitely something that I've taken to heart as the reason why I specifically and only play Commander. I started this MTG In Quarantine podcast because I've been heavily influenced myself by all the amazing, amazing content creators who bring Magic the Gathering content to you every day. This includes the guys over at the Command Zone, whether it's a set review or strategy episodes about how to be better Commander players, or whether it's one of the amazing, amazing game nights gameplay videos that they produce. Those guys are quality. You definitely need to check them out if you haven't already. I really love the work done by Mitch over the Commander's Quarters. I love watching all of his videos. I try to watch them as soon as they drop because it's always quality and Mitch just knows what he's talking about. And I just really, really love what he's able to do to bring us budget Commander players, really give us a voice in a time where a lot of deck costs are skyrocketing. The ability to be able to play budget Commander is extremely important to me. The professor over at Tolarian Community College, who was a huge influence on me when I was first starting the game and still is to this day. He does great content. If you haven't checked him out, definitely do so. I highly recommend it. And then all the amazing, talented people who I haven't mentioned who bring quality MTG content to you every day in a variety of mediums. And I started this podcast because I wanted to help be part of that community and be able to lend my voice on the things that are going on in the game right now. It's definitely been something that's been going on in the world right now. There's a lot of negativity about many, many, many things. And I wanted to be able to utilize this platform as a way to talk about the things that I love about Magic the Gathering. I know that there's a lot of things currently dividing the player base, whether that's the reprint policy or whether that's controversy about Wizards of the Coast's policies, or even things like sets or discussions about Commander or about any of the formats, discussions about the overall cost of many of the 60 card constructed formats, Modern, Legacy, Vintage. And I just want to be able to talk about the things that I really enjoy about Magic the Gathering, because Magic the Gathering has been something that's been extremely important to me, especially the last couple of months with the COVID-19 crisis. It's been an opportunity for me to at least get together with my friends, not in person, but online, and just still feel like I'm hanging out with them, even when it's not necessarily possible to be able to do so in person. And I wanted to be able to bring some of that hopefully positive energy to you, the listener, so that hopefully, even in this time of division, even this time of severe negativity, we can all try to come together around Magic the Gathering and just remember that it's not just about the cards or about the game, but it really is about the gathering. It really is about the social aspects. Something that I really cherish about Magic the Gathering. It's the reason why I got started with the game in the first place after that really boring Saturday with nothing else to do, and it's the reason why I keep playing today. I made a lot of friends through playing Magic the Gathering who I never would have made otherwise. I've had a lot of great experiences, such as Magic Fest, where I really got to meet a whole lot of different people and play a whole bunch of Magic, and just really for a couple of days be able to get away from the rigors of the world and just be able to enjoy playing card games with friends. That's what Magic the Gathering's about, and that's what this podcast is going to be about. Talking about the things I love about Magic the Gathering and the things that really make me keep coming back every day to play more and more games. If you like what you've heard today, please go over to Twitter and follow me at MTG In Quarantine. I'm also trying to set up a YouTube channel for all sorts of MTG related content, so please go over to YouTube when you get the chance and follow me there. That about wraps it up. I'm very glad that you spent your time with me today. It's greatly appreciated, and I love making content and talking about Magic the Gathering. Thank you, and in the words of Mitch from the Commander's Quarters, have a good one.